Hey, before we go into this episode, I just wanted to give a quick reminder that on the 29th of July at the Selina Hotel in Berlin, which I believe the address is Altschönhauser Straße 2, so that is right near Rosa-Luxemburg-Platz, at 3 p.m., we will be doing another free live show in their rooftop bar, which actually, to be very fair, had very cute views of Berlin. I cannot hate on it. So come along. It's free, like I said, if you have nothing to do on the 29th. I assume that you don't. So come along. It'll be fun. Come hang out with us. I assume that we're going to have something silly planned. And yeah, we would love to see you there. And without further ado, here is then me talking about where you should eat in Berlin if you are coming to visit, or if you live here and you don't know good places to eat. So yeah, hope you enjoy it. Hey. It is your weekly bonus Späti. It's just myself, Nick, today, joined by no one else. This is a special Corner Späti exclusive. This has been kind of something that has been on my mind of doing for the show for a while. And I always wanted to do it more or less in video format. It's a bit too difficult to get everyone together to do it this way. So I thought I would try it first as such, as a bonus episode. So consider this like beta version 1 of the Corner Späti Guide to Berlin. Or just the Nick Guide to Berlin. Your favorite Späti boy Nick Guide to Berlin. Because I, unfortunately, have been quite sick this week. Not like seriously sick or anything, but just like an annoying, or like annoying enough to where I have to sit in bed mostly the whole time. And I've been rewatching Neon Genesis Evangelion, doing Kieran good, letting him know that I am too trying to become a weeb. It's not working, but I can at least rewatch a show that I do like. And I have been polluting my brain a little bit too much by just TikTok doom scrolling when I'm sitting up at night unable to go back to sleep because I can't breathe through my nose because my nose is so stuffed up. You may be able to hear a little bit. I'm still a little bit sick, but felt healthy enough to record this and enough in the mindset of watching enough of these dumb, corny videos of people, with my opinion, the worst, corniest taste in Berlin. So there will be no mentions of things like Paulo Pinkel or, I don't know, 1,000 cocktail bars I've never heard of, or anything that then is where a dish is going to be $20 or more, or clubs I'm just not going to bother with because it's not my domain. Maybe get Rob on the episode and he can give a club overview of Berlin. But what I primarily want to focus on is how to enjoy Berlin on a budget, of course. This is a left-wing podcast. Of course, you are paying for this as it being a left-wing podcast. And Berlin is a city that has a shit ton of hype around it. And I want to kind of break through the bullshit because I can guarantee you that 99.9% of the hype stuff is bad, not even just mid, just not good. Yes, that means Frühstück 3000 is a waste of your money. If you go there, I will judge you. If you go to any of those places, Wang Cheng, whatever the hell that place is called, the noodle place, is probably fine. Don't get me wrong. However, there are noodle places that don't have lines continuously around them that are probably just as good, if not better. Mustapha's Gemüse Kebab is also overrated. These are things that we need to, of course, break down. Now, I don't necessarily know about how I will go about with this. I was feeling just kind of going by area of Berlin or Bezirk, or maybe just kind of going off of type of food. Now, this is not a definitive list of what Nick thinks is the best. These are just places in Berlin that I think are good, that are worth your time and money, that are typically local. There are a few that then are chains, and there are a few that then I do have to admit are good, even though they are chains. But nonetheless, Berlin is a city that has actually good food for very cheap. And I hope that this never changes, because this is one of the things that makes Berlin one of my favorite cities in the world, is that, yeah, okay, there's no like any attempt of the Germans or the Berliners or whoever moves to Berlin to do fine dining is laughable and should be laughed at, because it's very embarrassing. It's too giving into the bullshit hype of Berlin that has been gone for 10 years. Like, the stuff and the aesthetic of all this stuff has been the same since I moved here over 10 years ago. So that should just like give you a hint that none of this stuff is actually cool. It just is going off of a perspective of what it thinks is cool. So, let's just start. All right, I'm going to start up in the north of Berlin. This is not also, I'm going to see how far I can get within about an hour's time. I will obviously do multiples of these if people like them. These are, I will try to then give a list in the description of every single place that then I have covered with the address and everything like that, because these are very good places that you should try. So without further ado, we're going to start our journey in Wedding, which is the district that I live in, and I've lived here for about a year. I am a big fan of Wedding. I do believe Der Wedding kommt. It is already here, and it's actually without a doubt like one of my favorite areas I've lived in here. I've lived in Wedding, I've lived in Neukölln, I've lived in Charlottenburg, I've lived in Wilmersdorf, I lived in Friedrichshain. I've lived in Kreuzberg for like 2 days before I realized that the dude that I moved in with was a massive cokehead and I should get the fuck out of there. So I've lived in a lot of places, and I can give you a lot of very good insight, I think, to places that then I think are affordable and that are very good. So first and foremost, you're in Wedding. There is no place better in Berlin for cheap food that is always fresh and good than Sarajevo, Berlin. It literally is just called Sarajevo, Berlin, which they changed the name of. Its address is Triffstraße 8 in Berlin. I will put this all below in the description. And it is, as you would assume, it is just a Balkan pastry, like hearty pastries and a few desserts. The desserts aren't anything really to write home about. If you're a little high, they're delicious. But the real winner here is the Cevapcici and the börek that they have. And they have 4 different variations. There's potato, cheese, spinach with cheese, so kind of like spanakopita, and then the meat variant, which is with ground beef. Every single one of them slams. And they are all $3.50. So it does not matter which börek that you get. They are all $3.50. They have not changed their prices the entire pandemic or inflation or anything like that. They are always busy. I don't think this is even like a secret anymore. I think that this is something that then is a place that more or less kind of everyone in Berlin knows. The group of people who frequent Sarajevo are everyone from annoying hipsters, I guess you could say, like myself, even though I wouldn't classify. Oh, God damn, that's a real hipster thing to say. Young people or whatever who look like that they've been spending their entire weekend at the techno club, all the way to your real Balkan G's who go there every single day and they know the entire staff. The Cevapcici is phenomenal. You get a big piece of fried bread with it too, and it is just honest, good food. I believe the prices of the Cevapcici have raised slightly since the pandemic and the and inflation and stuff like that, or since the war. However, it's worth it. I believe that the smallest size is 5 to 6 euros and the largest size is 9. And it is phenomenal every time. They have other dishes too that I have not tried because I just literally go there either one to get cevapcici or to get a variety of börek to then bring home and just destroy. Amazing. Cannot say enough about Sarajevo. That is, I think, the strongest thing to go off of, and the prices are so fair. And the only problem is that you may not be able to find a place to sit sometimes because it is very packed. So just kind of go a little bit before or after. You can just kind of, see for yourself. If it's if there's never really like a line, it's just that in the sense that there's a lot of people always kind of sitting outside, but you can always get to go. So if you do live nearby, it is worth it. It is worth waiting and getting your fresh burek. And they're constantly just shoveling these things out of the oven left and right. Cannot recommend enough. If I'm gonna do if there is a star system, I'm gonna do 5 out of 5 stars, baby. Maybe 6. It is the perfect place in Berlin. So moving on up from there, because we were doing this by Bezirk now, I guess. And now vetting is a bit odd because there's a lot of places that I would say are always pretty solid. You can always kind of like go down the street and whatnot, get like a pretty decent kebab and whatnot. However, all right, I won't say that there is a best kebab place. I will give you a kebab place that I think is very good in every area if I can. And there's the name of the place is just Lamachon Kebab House. It's on Luxemburger Straße 6 is the address. It is right near the station of Leopoldplatz. And it is easily one of the best kebabs I've had in town. The bread's fresh, the ingredients are fresh. It's a little pricey, I would say, in comparison. I mean, kebab places have gotten much more expensive lately. An absolute hole in the wall, which is good. No frills, no bells and whistles to it, like say like Hakiki or like any of these other shitty, overly expensive mid kebab places. There's what's the souvlaki? What's that called in Turkish? I guess just kebabs. The things on skewers, phenomenal. Their durum and döner and stuff like that is also phenomenal. I've not had bad food here. It is a little bit pricier than your average kebab place. Just go for it. It's fun. It's phenomenal. The bread is so good. And I've tried also their other dishes and some of their sandwiches and stuff like that. Everything has been just absolute knocked out of the park. Lamachun Kebab House really could not find a worse name because I feel if you type it in on Google Maps, it will show you 100 other places. So now moving up from there, okay, so still in vetting, and there is now there are 2 places, one right next to another. And one is obviously better than the other, okay? And I'm talking about Asia Deli and Lay's, it's called Lay's Küche or Lay's Kitchen. Both are Chinese restaurants. Asia Deli, for some reason, is like never listed on Google Maps. But if I type it in, let's see, Asia Deli, it'll just come as Asia Deli, like Lieferservice or whatever. It's Asia Deli Bringdienst. Now, don't let the rating on Google fool you, or the rating that then's on like Lieferando or whatever if you were ordering this. It says it's a 4.2 on Google Maps. Don't trust the Germans on any of this shit. It is incredibly fresh Chinese food, like Hunan style kitchen. There is a picture of Mao in the restaurant, so you know it whips. And it is phenomenal. It is one of the best Chinese food places in Berlin. It is by no means hype. It is very fair. They have had to raise their prices a tiny bit since, after the war and with inflation and costs, just general costs rising. Asia Deli, though, it is on Seestraße. The address is Seestraße 41. And I cannot recommend it enough. I go here at least once a week. It is for Uma, Kieran, and myself, the ones who live up in this area of town, it is a corner Späti just go-to. Yulia and I have gone here multiple times to do just research for episodes because it is very friendly, very open. No one really the prices are dirt cheap for how much food you get, and you get these big portions that you can share, and the service takes forever. Don't get me wrong, it is a very true Chinese place in that the service is miserable, but beers are cheap for a restaurant. They also have things, I guess, like hot pot and whatnot if you're into that. Apparently, I've never been with enough people for it. But also the place next door, Lay's Kitchen, is also very good, which I would assume that the address is then Oh, no, it's also Seestrasse 41 as well. They have the same address. But if you are there, you will see that there are two Chinese restaurants next to each other. The one that looks shittier is the better one. Lay's Kitchen, for some reason, has a better review, but it's also good. Like, I wouldn't talk shit about it. It's a very good, honest Chinese place as well too. Now, if we're still in vetting, and you're wondering, like, okay, well, what about beer? What about bars? What about this? What about that? Well, I can't really give you a good rundown of what bars I think are good, because I don't really I like just cheap places. So, and I know that that's going to be kind of stuff that then's a little bit not what people are looking for if they're asking for. I mean, you can just kind of hop into any bar at that point, right? However, if you are in vetting, there is now the location of it is very stupid. Okay, its address is Triftstrasse 67. It is also in vetting as well, near very close to Leopoldplatz as well. It is called Eschenbräu. I believe this is a pretty well-known about place. However, they have a very cute beer garden when it's open. They also have their own distillery for whiskeys and stuff like that. The beer is fine. The food's horrible. Do not order food there. However, they will let you order food and then like bring it there, which is very cute of them. And I for a place that is a local brewery, as in like local as in vetting local, it's very cute. A lot of the other bars nearby serve their beer too, which I think is a very nice gesture that they do. And I just really think it's a good just brewery beer garden sort of thing. The location is a bit odd because it's just right in the middle of an apartment complex, but that's also like kind of cool about it. Like, it's not like a very stereotypical like German beer garden thing. The only thing that then does get a little bit annoying is that if I'm not mistaken, they close the outside part quite early because it is in the middle of an apartment block. But nonetheless, the downstairs area is then open quite late. I believe until midnight, or no, until 1 a.m. it says here, except for on Tuesdays. Why would you be drinking that late on a Tuesday anyway? But strong recommend Eschenbräu in vetting. I know that then if any of the members of Corner Späti are listening to this, they will laugh because we have been there plenty of times together as a show because we all kind of live up here. Now, we're going to move a little bit further towards Gesundbrunnen, all right? Still kind of in vetting technically, still kind of not in vetting technically. We're still in Mitte. How about that, all right? So we can be accurate here, okay? Because Gesundbrunnen will tell you that it is not a part of vetting. It is technically its own Bezirk. However, I don't view that as its own Bezirk. I view it as a part of vetting. However, legally, yes, it is a part of Mitte. This is all Mitte, baby. I hate to admit it, but we live in Mitte. So, we may have mentioned this on the show a couple of times. And I do so everyone's going back of, what's the Bürgermeister? Is Bürgermeister the best? Like, what's the best burger in Berlin? That's always those typical things that you see on those dumb TikTok things. And everyone's like, oh, Bürgermeister. Bürgermeister's fine. Bürgermeister is good. I have nothing against Bürgermeister. However, my shit got absolutely rocked by Smackburger, all right? I do not know what this place is, who runs it, why it's so fucking good. There is sometimes a line in front of it. It is at Badstrasse 66 in right near the Gesundbrunnen Center, and I can as an American, all right, I feel I have some authority on what a good burger is. Smack Burger is like the closest thing I have had to like a solid American burger. Okay, so it rips. Its prices are pretty good for what it is. Burgers have gotten more expensive. That's just true. But they have patty melts, which if you've had like a Whataburger patty melt, which is, in my opinion, one of the best fast food places in the U.S., if you disagree with me, that's I'm so sorry that you have no taste buds. But yeah, the water, they have like a version of what I would say is like a better Whataburger patty melt. It rips. It is so hard. The regular burgers are really good. The fries are okay. Let's just be honest. You know, you're not going there for the fries. They also apparently have like shakes and stuff like that. But the thing that's the funniest thing about Smack Burger is that it's like football themed. And when I mean football, I mean American football. And no, not the band, like the sport. And it's just very generic. There's just like football logos, like with like a football helmet, like in like neon or something like that. They're showing like old NFL games, but like I have a memory of it being so generic that I just think it was like just like a general football game, just like a thing from TV of people playing football, maybe. You know, but it could have been an actual game. Who knows? But it had the vibe that it was just like, you know, I don't know if there was like a football game from like Dawson's Creek or something like that. That's what's playing on the background. It's very phoned in terms of that sense. I do not know why it is this theme. However, that aside, it rips. I love it. Their burgers are phenomenal, and I've never had a bad burger there. And they do deliver as well, which is very dangerous for whenever we are recording long episodes. But now going up the street from Smack Burger, we have my favorite chicken place in Berlin. All right, and it's called Akko, Akko. However, this is where we have to get a little, I have not been here in a while. The last time I went there, they didn't really have anything because of the economic crisis that is happening. But their chicken in like north of Wedding and stuff like that was always my favorite. It could still be good. It's Badstrasse 21 is the address. If someone has been there recently and could give me an assessment, this was my favorite chicken place. I used to live right down the street from here. It was something I ate way too much, and I could recommend it. However, I've not been there in a while, and the time that I had been there during COVID, they had like nothing. So this is just kind of a little asterisk. There are other good chicken places. Don't get me wrong. We'll get to them later when we go down to, Neukölln and whatnot. And also, I cannot forget, now this is a chain. You'll find them all over Berlin. Imren Grill, Rips, just Turkish food. Like if you're going to get a kebab, actually, like a döner or a dürüm, consistently there's always Rip. Very good. They also have like a meal thing where I think it's like 10 euros. You get like a really big plate of food, and you get to like choose between if you want a vegetarian or with meat. Always good. Always Rips. Cannot say enough nice things about Imren, and there's like 8 of them around town. And although it is a chain, it is a local chain, so I'm going to support it. So that's enough of like, North Germany, or not Germany, like northern part of Berlin. All right. We're going to move down, okay, towards, I'm going to just kind of flip it all around to my other favorite area that I lived also the longest in, which is Neukölln, all right? Now, I understand a lot of trendy bullshits down here in Neukölln, and you have to be very careful, okay? Most of the restaurants down here that are opening are garbage. So, like I said, you will not be hearing anything nice of me to say about Paulo Pinkel. That place should not exist. I don't know why you have 5 different restaurants in one, nor do I care. Nor am I going to go there, because when I go there, it looks like just, I don't know, the men there look like that weird trend of like, where, tall, lanky pedophile swag that like, apparently is cool again, where everyone looks like Terry Richardson, speak of a problematic kind of guy. And everyone just looks like they're trying too hard, which then that the food sucks. All right. I've heard from other friends it's actually not that bad, but don't care. I will never go there because it is so fucking trendy. Now, if you want a good place to go to, okay, if you want if let's say, all right, you're feeling a slice of pizza, baby. Oh, now, this place is near Kölner Park. It is called Nini e Petit Rosso. It is a small little Italian cafe, and they do pizza by the slice. That is phenomenal. And it's just square pieces of pizza, and they just they're pre-made. They pop them back in the oven, and they're delicious. And they're like, I think €3 now. They used to be €2, but inflation, baby. What are we going to do about that? Nothing. All right. So it's at Zelkestrasse 27. So like I said, if you're in Kölner Park, you're spending a day at Kölner Park, and you don't want to go and I mean, also, I highly recommend Kona Park if it's not too busy of a day. Germans love sitting out in the middle of the park and doing fuck all. If that's something that you like doing, Kona Park is one of the prettiest parks in Berlin. I know that it is trendy, but you know what? Find me a prettier park in Berlin. You can't. All right. I also used to live around here and highly recommend it. It is a very nice park. And the nice thing is that, too, that you can go grab beer from the Späti and then go and grab, when you're hungry, go grab food from Nini e Peteroso. There's also a nice cafe that then is connected to it. I believe called Amalia. It's not the best, but they have coffee, they have ice cream, they have stuff like that. So it's like two businesses that are together. And if you want to sit there and eat, they let you, like the cafe lets you sit there as well. Pizza by the slice, phenomenal. Even I took my mom here and when she visited me years ago and loved it. So that is an obvious shout. Again, I'm not going to say it's the best pizza in Berlin. It'd be hard to even say that it's the best pizza in Berlin too, because it is, it's a bit hard to, kind of compare a full pie to slice pizza, like these little square slices. However, if you do get their pizza, like the full round pizza, I highly recommend it. It is phenomenal. And the prices, again, like I said, very fair. And, again, right near Kona Park. And they, just very honest prices. Now, okay, like I said, Neukölln is going to be a little bit harder to do because there are so many new places that then have opened up that are kind of shit. And, but I'm gonna hit you with some of my favorites. Now, I mentioned earlier that I will give you my favorite chicken place in town. All right. And given maybe I'm biased because this place, I just lived close to it at one point, so I would go here way too often. But Sham on Karmarkstraße, the address is Karmarkstraße 177. It is just a Syrian chicken place or Syrian restaurant, more or less. It's also right next to a place called Tiba that actually has like very good falafel, I would say. Maybe not the best in town, but it's honest. It's pretty all right. Sham's fried chicken, though, rips. It is very good. It is probably one of my favorite fried chickens in town. And there's I've that it's good when every time that then I mention it to a like Syrian or Arab person, they're like, yeah, duh, of course, that place rips. So my taste is better than yours. Rizza chicken is garbage. Not even going to mention them on here. I have to mention Rizza because Rizza was good at one point. Okay, Rizza chicken was A-okay. Wasn't the best. It was literally just a ripoff of KFC, and it sucks. Like it really is. It really is bad. Now, if you do want something that then is similar to Rizza chicken, near the original Rizza chicken, well, the original one I guess was up at Europa Center, like near Zoologische Garten, but the other Rizza chicken is on Sonnenallee, like right near, also in Neukölln. It's right near Reuterstraße, if I'm not mistaken. And City Chicken, which is also on Sonnenallee, the address is Sonnenallee 59, is, if you're looking for a roasted chicken, it's a bit better. All right. So I've had it once or twice. It's very good. I recommend it. They also have, though, the City Chicken breakfast place, which is right next to it, and the address for that is Weichselstraße 12. And for Levantine Arab breakfast foods, they're only open I think until 3 some days, but it rips. It's very good. They have manakish and stuff like that, and all very fresh, all very, 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 very affordable. And I cannot say enough nice things about it, which is the thing that's at least nice about these places in Neukölln, is that they haven't been forced out yet by things like gentrification. I mean, if you just go up on Weserstraße, for example, literally the next block up, it is nothing but a plethora of annoying bars and restaurants that you should avoid. All right. And the only thing that then I will say, to defend all this, again, this is another chain in Berlin. It does not need any introduction, of course. The Sahara Imbiss across Berlin also slaps. I can't say, it's not my favorite, but cheap, Very good meal every time I go. There's one, I think, literally in every bezirk or every area. And if you come across one and you do not know what to eat, I can guarantee you that you will find something on this menu, whether it be, vegetarian, vegan, meat, whatever it is. Okay. Now, for people who live in Berlin, yes, I understand a lot of these suggestions that I have are very basic. Like, oh my God, Nick, you're just like suggesting the most basic stuff. Yes. All right. This is for people who do not live here, who are trying to find good places to eat and don't want to then end up, either at something bad, like say a Rizza chicken where everyone tells them, oh, it's actually really good. Or, for the person who comes there occasionally who then, just wants to try, some good working, I'm going to say I'm not working class. That's the wrong thing. Affordable meals that are good. These are not all like sit down places. Some of them are just straight up like grab and go places. But the thing is that quality of food is the most important thing here, not the vibe, not the ambiance, none of that bullshit. Okay. If you want to have like a fancy dinner in Berlin or whatever, then go and find like, the ex-Berliner bullshit guide to, shitty restaurants in Berlin, because that's what you're going to get. You're going to get an overpriced meal that is hype. For example, go and get breakfast anywhere in Berlin, like anywhere in Neukölln or anywhere in Kreuzberg, and you will be fucking just embarrassed in yourself that you spent that much money for the shittiest coffee of your life and for just the most mid breakfast ever. All right. As someone from a country who does breakfast right, as in that it is a sloppy, disgusting meal. No, like you cannot convince me that places like Frühstück 3000 or Frühstück 3000, whatever the fuck it's called, are worth it. And that everyone just gives it a good rating because it has a vibe, not that it has good food. Okay. So and if you don't even come at me because you know that I'm right, and don't be defending this crap because again, I'm right. And you're paying to listen to me. So that's all that matters. Now we got to talk about, pizza. All right. Pizza in Berlin. I mentioned already before that there is, there's a lot of pizza first in Berlin. I'm not going to give you a place that then I think is the best. I gave you just the Nini e Petroso place as just an example of a place that I think is very good. And there are a few places that I think are pretty good. Now, some of them are on the Neukölln side, some of them are on the Kreuzberg side, but in this area, they're actually, to be very fair, there are a lot of decent pizza places in Neukölln, Kreuzberg, and that's kind of about it of the only areas that I found that are like really good, because the more German you get into the areas, the more the pizza becomes like, the thing that's very interesting is that the ratings on like Google will be like 4.5, 5 stars, and the pizza will be just like the wateriest dough. The cheese isn't even like mozzarella. It'll be like, Gouda or whatever, because it's to a very specific German taste. Okay. Now, I do not care how trendy some of these places are. They have solid pizza. Okay. So no, we're not going to be talking about, I can't even remember the name of the name of the place. It's so trendy. It's like literally right across from this other. Well, anyway, when I remember I think it's called like Nona or something like that, or some crap. I'm about to say Loca, but that's not it. Let me just exit out of here Zola. That's it. Pizza Zola. Okay. Do not go here. All right. The pizza may look good. It's very overpriced. However, anyone telling you that you should go to Pizza Zola, or Zola, I think it's just called, not Pizza Zola, suggest them, it is called Amacha Pizza, all right? It is at Maybach Ufer 21, literally right across the bank from Zola. It's around a similar-ish price point, a little cheaper. They have better appetizers, first off, and their pizza First off, the interior decoration of it is very bad, but in a very good way. It's all over. It's like very kind of like pop arty, very silly. It's again, same thing like Zola. It is always packed. However, I will say that this pizza is actually good. I don't know what Zola does to their pizza. It's not very like, again, it's hype, you know? And if you want to go to a restaurant to then look cool, then yeah, sure, go to Zola, get a mid-meal, and spend like 20 something euros on a pizza that you're going to regret. Where Amatrice pizza is, again, like I said, a little bit pricier, all right? But genuinely, I think, is solid. All right, now we're still in Neukölln, Kreuzberg, whatever you want to call it. And there is another pizza place that is also very good. I believe it's just called, there's multiple ones of it. There's Terra, which is at Grimmstrasse 1 in Kreuzberg. It's very good. There's also then another place of it that is connected to it that has a similar-ish, what's it called? A similar, not a similar menu. That's not true. It's owned by the same people. I need to remember the name of it though. Give me 1 second. Oh wait, maybe I'll just exit out. It is called, oh, I cannot find it. Well, anyway, Terra, and I need to find the other pizza place because this is going to bug me. Terra is also a fairly good pizza place. I guess more they have like other Italian food as well too. I've had solid meals there. The only problem is that it is very, 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 very crowded because again, this falls under the category of like, yeah, it is a bit trendy. However, I would also recommend. Oh, Il Ritrovo is the other one, still owned by the same people. It's at Gabriel Max Strasse 2 in Friedrichshain. It's cool. It has like a really like lefty vibe to it. The pizza is actually very solid, and you can get very weird pizzas there that I've never seen before in my life, like horse meat, which I know sounds weird, but try it. And that's kind of like really all I'm going to give with pizza. I mean, there's definitely a bunch of other places. I've had plenty of fine pizza places. These are just the ones that I kind of just stumble upon because they're in areas where one, there's like Zola is this one where there's like 3 other pizza places next to it that are just better. And I know that then that people are like, oh, but Zola's so good, this and that and that. Again, the Nick criteria of good place is if you look too much like someone that I like, if you look like you're trying too hard in Berlin and you're at a restaurant, you know, I'm not going to go there. All right. And you know what people I'm talking about, if you've ever been to Berlin, where they look like how you would imagine people in Berlin imagine that they should dress and look and behave. You know, it's like just knock off Balenciaga sunglasses, dressing like it's like they're going to the club 24/7, having no chill, and really just looking like assholes. And just looking like fashion victims in every regard in that sense. So if you see people like that around there, you know, don't go. Now, if it happens to be that then some of these suggestions that I've given you that some people there look like this, well, I can't do anything about that. Sorry. Like I'm only human. Maybe these places have also gotten too trendy. Now, we are going to move across to a different Bezirk. Okay. We're going to jet across down to Charlottenburg. Okay. Now, why Charlottenburg, you ask? Charlottenburg is, this is in no way any secret, and I'm not trying to give you like the inside scoop anywhere with any of this stuff. This stuff is all pretty basic knowledge if you've lived in Berlin long enough and you explore the city like myself. Now, something that Charlottenburg has that a lot of other districts in Berlin do not have is, for some reason, a very large Chinese population. I do not know the reason for this. I don't really care to find out right now, but all I know is that there are a shit ton of very, 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 very good Chinese restaurants on Kantstraße. Okay, I'm not even going to list any of them, because if you are in Berlin and you get off around, say, if you're taking the transit and you get off around Wilmersdorfer Straße and you go up north and then take a right or go east down Kantstraße, you will be hit by Chinese restaurant after Chinese restaurant after Chinese restaurant after Chinese restaurant, and I can guarantee you that the majority of them are very, very, very good. Now, these range from just straight noodle places, like noodle soup places. Dodeli is one of my favorites. Again, like not the cheapest, but also, very straightforward prices. Not very trendy at all, actually, for some reason. And there's also, just a few Vietnamese places that are actually very good as well. There's a few Korean places. I don't know why there is a picture on Google. That must be photoshopped, of the guy holding the sign in front of, like, those very stupid signs that were never mind, doesn't matter. I'm not going to try to explain it on a podcast. Anyway, lots of primarily Chinese food. There's also some very good, like, Korean places as well too. I can not recommend enough. There is, unfortunately, one of my favorite places, Lawn Men's Noodle House, is closed for, it says it's temporarily closed. This place rocks. It is also on Kantstraße 33. If it does open back up, it is again, if you're going to go to, what's it called? Wenchang, or whatever the hell it is, that's fine, but Kantstraße, you can find probably something just as good if you just walk around and follow, your nose and follow, your eyes, just look around and see, does that look good? There are a lot of very good Vietnamese places around here. Just like literally, I cannot recommend, just start at Savini Platz, or maybe a little bit further down from there, and then just go walk either west from there or from Wilmersdorfer Straße, walk east from there, and you will find very, 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 very good Chinese food. I've never been let down on this street. I've had some places that are better than others, don't get me wrong, but always have had solid Chinese food. Now, also in Wilmersdorf, Charlottenburg as well, there is a place near Berliner Straße. Okay, Berliner Straße, the stop, like the U-Bahn station, called Tianfu. Apparently it's Tianfu 2. There is another one somewhere, and the one that is on Berliner Straße, the address is Berliner Straße 15. Is a very good hot pot place. I've been there for friends' birthdays. Very good. They also have very good Chinese food in general. Again, a slam dunk. And if you look up on Google reviews as well, not too, it is always very well reviewed. And there is also, of course, if I'm in Wilmersdorf, I cannot forget the other noodle place, which now for some reason I can. Oh yeah. Shan Yu's House of Noodles, a classic. Everyone I feel in Berlin knows this. It's at Pariser Straße 58. Another solid noodle place. Can not recommend enough. Also, the prices are stupid cheap. Okay, it is in Wilmersdorf. All right, one of the most expensive places in town, most expensive areas in town, and the food here is very, very, very good and very, very, very affordable. I cannot recommend this enough if you're very hungover. Also, the spice here is spicy, so do not take it for granted. Okay, if you're around near Zoologischer Garten for whatever reason, you can literally just hop down the train 2 stops to Shan Yu's House of Noodles. It is a slam dunk. And again, you're probably not going to have to wait in a line like you would at Wang Ching's or Wang Chong, whatever the hell that place is called. All right. And now I cannot mention, if we're talking about Chinese noodles, another phenomenal place that this place you may, depending on the time of the year, may have to wait in line. And I hope that they still exist because they were going to close a while ago. And the thing that is very funny about this is that it is directly near the the North Korean embassy, which is, for those who do not know, North Korea has, I guess, some degree of diplomatic relations with Germany, with the Federal Republic of Germany. I'm assuming that then also that this has been here since the GDR. I highly recommend just going there, and you see the little thing out front that says little things and tidbits about North Korea, about how Kim Jong-un rocks, and how the Kim dynasty is also very cool. But there is also a Szechuan noodle place called Liu. And Liu, a bunch of Chinese characters that I have no idea what that says. Noodle House. It is on Kronenstrasse 72. This place, if it is high tourist season, it's right near Stadtmitte. Highly recommend. It is, again, a little bit on the pricier side. It says on Google that it has 2 euro signs, but nonetheless, cannot recommend this place enough. I believe that, it's only open for a very short, from 11 to 3. Today is Thursday. I'm recording this from 11 to 3, and then they reopen for 2 more hours from 5 to 7:30. On the weekends, they are closed, and during the week, they are sometimes only open from 11 to 3 as well, 11:30 to 3. So yeah, really, you kind of have to go pick your date, and it is a trendy one because I guess that then there's probably some TikTok videos I've seen a few TikTok videos. If you love people watching and you love Germans biting off more than they can chew in terms of spiciness, this place is fucking hot. It is very spicy. Don't test yourself here thinking that then I'm in Germany. It will blow your head off. And I have gotten there's 3 or 4 spicy levels. I've gotten the second one, and it was very hot. A German guy next to me, a kid, got one or half, and he couldn't handle it. So it was very funny to see his kind of guy being oh yeah, this isn't spicy, and then just watch him melt in front of my eyes. But be careful. And I've heard people who have grown up in countries and cultures with very spicy food have said this place is real deal spicy. You can even buy their spicy sauces. I highly recommend it. And I mean, if you're into that. But yeah, now we're kind of slowly coming to a close of where I know I only talked about a few types of food and a few districts. It is very hard to cover all of Berlin. However, there is then something that I want to get out of the way now, because I mentioned, in the sense, I've only mentioned one Döner place, which was up in Wedding, because I personally like it a lot and I think it's actually worth your time. Now, Döner in Berlin, I'm going to go out and say it, is not good. Okay? Döner as a whole is not good. And no, this is not me just being, this is not a joke of oh yeah, gyros are better, this and that. No. Döner is just, I feel that it's become so much of a staple of Berlin that a lot of the Döner places that open up are lazy. They don't, they're going strictly off of clout rather than quality of food. And where you can get a better bang for your buck is if you go to a shawarma place. Okay? So also the shawarma places are a lot of the times way nicer. You get more food. It's cheaper. My favorite one in Wedding is, I forget the name of it now. It is literally right down the street. And it's, here it is right here. It is, where did it go? There's a place called Café Sade. No, I've been there. The place sucks. There we go. Falafel Al Amin. It is right next to Sarajevo. Rips. You can get a combination falafel with falafel and shawarma for like, I think, less than €5 still, or like €5.20. Prices are very fair. The guy gives you free food all the time. It rips. Now, in Berlin, if you're going down, like if you're in like Neukölln or something like that, and you're in areas like Sonnenallee, you are probably going to, if you go to hop into pretty much any shawarma place, you will be getting a good shawarma. All right? That's just like, again, if you see a lot of people there, you know, hop in, grab yourself a shawarma and go on your way, and you will save probably €2 or €3 as well, because for some reason, I don't know why, the shawarma places haven't had they haven't had inflation hit them the way that the doner places have. And I know that Kieran has mentioned on a few occasions on the show that a lot of magazines and stuff are telling a lot of doner places that then they should be raising their prices like to like €8 or €9, which is a bit insane. Now, like for example, Azam is a very good place on Sonnenallee. There's also the problem is that then a lot of these places don't show up on Google Maps for some reason. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. You can just kind of walk down. If you find a shawarma place, you're probably better off having it. You're probably more likely to have a better meal there than you would at just any run-of-the-mill doner. Like, there are good doner places. Do not get me wrong. I mentioned a couple on here as well. Like I said, for chain places, Imren Rocks. And for up in Wedding, Lamajun Kebab House is also very good. Oh, and if we're also in Neukölln as well, God, I cannot forget, of course, the sandwich place, which now I cannot find. Gelgur, Gelgur, is a Turkish sandwich place at Kopasadam 80. Absolute ripper. They are open incredibly late. Apparently they are open the weekends 24 hours a day, 24 hours on the weekend. And during the weekday, they close at 6 o'clock in the morning. So they open from 10 a.m. and close at 6 a.m. So if you're coming back and you're like, what do I get? And you're around Hermannplatz and stuff like that, I cannot recommend Gelgur enough. It is very good. Sandwiches. I don't know if they have any like vegan options or vegetarian options, but if you're a person who enjoys a solid sandwich with meat on it, I highly recommend it. Prices are very fair, some of the fairest in town, and I've not been able to find another place like it in Berlin that does the same type of sandwich as well and as cheap. So that's kind of also the thing as well, is that then for every doner place that you could go to, there's probably, again, like something else different that is going to be cheaper. So yeah, and that's just the nature of how inflation and stuff like that has kind of come about, and how these restaurants have also reacted. But there's nothing that we can really do about it. I just don't really get doner anymore. I get doner maybe a couple of times a year, and half the time it's only when people are here to visit. That being said, things like, is it worth standing in line for Mustafa's kebab? No, it isn't. But if you want to do it just for the fun of it, I'm not going to stop you. To be very fair, they still, they have a very good kebab. Actually, I would probably even argue one of the better ones in town. They give you a lot of stuff. It's just very expensive. And if you can go there and there's no line, of course, obviously, do it. It is I by no means should I say that you shouldn't get any of these staples of Berlin, If you also are aware, I've not mentioned a single currywurst place. It is something that I just don't eat. I don't know how to judge a good or bad currywurst. Not that I don't like it, but it just is kind of one of those things that's it's fine. For as much money as it is for one in comparison to how much food you get, I think it's a bit of a ripoff, depending on where you go as well, because some places have tried to lean in a lot to this kind of classist bullshit of working class food, but let's make it let's zhuzh it up and make it something. There's a currywurst place, I forget the name of it, But they have a currywurst meal where you can get 4 currywurst in like a jar that is like pre-made or something. And then, if I'm not mistaken, a bottle of Cristal or something like that with it. It is like 350 euros for this meal. So Berlin also has just the knack of making anything that they want to do seem cool or hip or whatever it is, corny as hell. All right. I do not know why. Everything, and this isn't even like, that one's just corny without even being cool. But places that try, here's kind of like my rule of thumb always for all these places in this town is that if they're trying to do something more than just give you good food, don't even bother, because for some reason there's just like a missing piece of whoever owns these places' brains. And I'm assuming they're either people from Hessen or they're Brits or Australians, this and that, who have very idiotic food cultures kind of to begin with, that then move to Berlin thinking that then it literally half the time seems like a coked out idea of like, oh, let's open up a wine bar in Berlin. And it gives you the vibe that it was a coked out idea that they took mommy and daddy's money and just ran with it and opened up something that then is going to close in probably a year's time. Because again, none of these places are good. So if you get the feeling of that when you're somewhere in Berlin, that is, like, go in if you feel like it, but Nick's rule of thumb is avoid it, and you'll have a better time here, and you'll save a lot of money, and you won't be around douchebags, which is something that I think that we all want to avoid in Berlin. Berlin is, in my opinion, one of the best cities in the world. Number one, baby. One of the best cities in summer as well. And it actually has a lot to offer in terms of very good, nice, foods that are very affordable. Like I've mentioned here, all these places that I've mentioned are places that I frequent quite often. And I really think that they deserve, the love and attention that a lot of these shitty places get, because some twink on TikTok with a vocal fry is telling you that you should go and get this there. But yeah, if you liked this series or you liked this beginning of the series, please let me know. I would love to continue more. If you also noticed, I've not mentioned a single Mexican food place. That is a whole discussion that I would like to have someone else on to kind of discuss this with me, because I think that there is good Mexican food. I need to run it by the rest of my podcast, though, because of what they think is good and what I think is good probably is much different. However, if you like this, I would love to continue it. I love showing people around Berlin of places to eat and drink that I think are very good. Again, this is mostly just restaurants. I think I threw in one bar there, which is more of a beer garden. But if you would like me to do another part, please let me know. We can also do more bars, beer garden, stuff like that. And really try to keep it into the, even things to do. Any ideas are surely welcome. And as mentioned before, this is a series that I've been wanting to do for a while visually. If you would also be interested in that could also be a possibility. It just takes a lot more time, but we do have the means to make video, whether it be YouTube or TikTok or whatever it is. But yeah, that is then all from me. I know that I only covered 3 or 4 areas of Berlin. Again, these are just the areas that I think are that I know the best. And surely, if I spend more times in Schöneberg and in areas, I mean, to be very fair too, it's like Wedding, Kreuzberg, Neukölln. Okay, Charlottenburg is maybe one that then people don't think that they don't spend a lot of time in. But if you think about it, the zoo is there. There is a lot of stuff. These are areas I went through, kind of areas that I thought were main focal points when people come to visit the city. Now, if you want more in Mitte or you want more in Friedrichshain, you're probably not going to get out of me, because I have a very strong opinion about how I think most of the places there are not very good and very overpriced and very hype. But nonetheless, there are a few places that are, diamonds in the rough there. But anyway, I will surely, if you guys would like, if you thought that this is a fun series, I would love to do this again, preferably with more people on the show and with a little bit more preparation. And we will then see you all next week for the regular episode and the bonus episode. But yeah, on that note then, take care, bye-bye. And if you're coming and visiting Berlin, please feel free to write me in the Patreon. I don't have really any social media anymore, but just let me know, and let me know if you've tried any of these places, what you think. I would love to hear your reactions. You could be like, Nick, your taste is horrible, or be like, wow, Nick, I didn't know about X place. It was really tasty. I would love to hear reactions from you guys. Take care, and see you guys all next week.